but I have an admission. Alexander Bovdunov, there is a clear admission that Ukraine holds biological research weapons. It's making you uncomfortable, but please.
So I think that, of course, Victoria, it's a great issue for the humanity. And when Victoria Nuland, in fact, confirmed that they have certain facilities, biological facilities in the Ukraine, she confirmed that all previous numerous reports by not only Russia but also China that the US has this program, opaque program, not transparent program outside its borders, and it's very dangerous for neighboring country. All these reports are confirmed to be true. What about the Ukraine, for example? There were reports long before this operation, and even not in this year. So it not.
No. This is
all the materials, all the.
I tell you, there was exactly what happened.
Side, it's not just for the, for example, to justify this operation. From my point
Sasha
of view,
Romanovs.
Yes.
Does Anders want to come in? Let's get in, everyone. Let's get in. Thank you, Alexander. Let's go to Anders. You see,
well, I would just point out
fundamental issue tonight. Everyone's really zapped about it because this was a Senate hearing. Anders, one point. Anders, the second Senate hearing. Now, what happens in the hearing is she says, and Victoria Nuland says it, right? She says it. She says, and she chooses the words carefully. She said, Ukraine hosts biological research facilities. And then, I don't know, a senator questions her that what happens if these materials come under the control of Russian forces? To which she says that Ukraine has, and I can confirm, she says, Ukraine has biological research facilities, and we are concerned that the Russians may get access to these research materials in their hands, and that could threaten the whole world. What are these materials? I mean, what kind of biological research was going on there? And this is a fundamental question, and this admission has come from Victoria Nuland. It has become a global story since Victoria Nuland admitted it during a Senate hearing on Ukraine. Yes, please.
Well, they can be defensive research, and they're probably defensive research, not offensive. And, you can use potentially any kind of biological research if it's fundamental enough for offensive purposes, which is what Moscow would probably do. Whereas the Ukrainians, because they're democracies, they're trying to join the European Union. It's very unlikely, this Russian propaganda story, that they're conducting biological weapons research. Nuland never said weapons. She just said biological research.
But she said that she's very worried of the materials coming to Russian hands.
To her post when she, for some time, couldn't find a proper word to name these facilities. I think it's a clear sign that
I think I'll play the clip. To end the controversy, I'll play the clip. I'll play the clip in the middle of the screen, ladies and gentlemen. Let the panelists stay. I'm playing the clip. That's a clip. It's about a 50-second clip. Let's hear it.
Ukraine has biological research facilities, which, in fact, we are now quite concerned Russian forces may be seeking to gain control of. So we are working with the Ukrainians on how they can prevent any of those research materials from falling into the hands of Russian forces should they approach.
I'm sure you're aware that the Russian propaganda groups are already putting out there all kinds of information about how they've uncovered a plot by the Ukrainians to release biological weapons in the country and with NATO's coordination. If there's a biological or chemical weapon incident or attack inside of Ukraine, is there any doubt in your mind that 100% it would be the Russians that would be behind it?
There is no doubt in my mind, Senator, and it is classic Russian technique to blame on the other guy what they're planning to do themselves.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Now, what happens, Michael, is that in this situation, I want to go to Michael Tracy. One forgets who's trying to play a false flag operation. Is it Victoria Nuland who's trying to play a false flag operation by saying that if tomorrow there's a biological attack, then the Russians are behind it? Or are the Russians playing a false flag operation by saying that they have found a biological weapons facility? Michael Tracy, please.
Well, I would just first want to note that the reflexive habit of American political operators, whether they be Republicans like Jason Miller or Democrats like Victoria Nuland, what they do automatically, as though it's been just instilled into their brain as this immediate reflex, is to cast aside any inconvenient information as Russian disinformation, even if that information is coming from an American official such as Nuland herself. This has a long legacy in the U.S. at this point, but now it's been ramped up as a propaganda tactic to kind of denigrate anybody who's challenging any aspect of the U.S. policy orientation here. So I don't have direct insight into what is going on with these particular biological operations that were referenced in Ukraine, but the idea that the U.S. would not have the infrastructure to help facilitate or fund something like this is, of course, ridiculous. I mean, the U.S. has a vast military apparatus that conducts all kinds of biological research, and it's also true that the U.S., along with NATO, have over the course of years, and it escalated in recent years, integrated Ukraine into the architecture of the U.S. military and NATO apparatus. So could that also encompass some sort of biological testing regime? It's possible. I don't know. And neither does Marco Rubio or Nuland or anybody on this panel really know that if some attack were to occur, it would automatically, by definition, have to be a false flag. I mean, that's just a propaganda line because everybody's rooting for one side of this conflict, and I don't begrudge that per se, but at least try to be honest about the factual, the facts at hand, and don't just be this kind of automatic parrot for whatever the State Department is saying.
Yeah, I want to get Sasha in on this. If there's nothing fishy about this biological and toxin weapons program that has been alleged by Russia, then why has Victoria Nuland given this clarification today? It almost seemed like a planted question to me, almost as if there was an anticipation of something more being found. And Sasha, we've just come out of 2 years of COVID, and I'm not even